What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. It's your boy NAKAT, and we are finally back in action with Multiversus. Thankfully, it is finally July, and we have our hands on the game. And it wouldn't be me if I didn't drop a fire guide on the latest character added to the roster, the Iron Giant. There's been much anticipation for this character solely for the fact that we wondered, how the hell is he going to work? He's so damn big. And he really does live up to the name of the Iron Giant because I believe he is the largest fighter in any platform fighter to date. Like, if you really look at his size, he is massive. I want you to check him out as he towers over Shaggy. I think you got to stack 2.5 Shaggies to even get to the height of the Iron Giant, straight up. But without further ado, let's actually get into what the Iron Giant is capable of. The Iron Giant's neutral attack is simply him just eating a piece of metal. And something cool that might happen is that actually, once you hit somebody with it, you can actually drop a scrap. What happens when you eat these scraps of objects on the ground is you add 1 bolt to your arsenal. And I'm going to talk about what that bolt does in a little bit. But it is really neat that he has some utility out of just his standard neutral attack. Now, when you switch over to his side attack, he actually punches a car and sits on the car as well. So you're pretty much collateral damage because the Iron Giant is deadass trying to body a car, and you just happen to be in the way. He'll hit you twice, and then he'll fall on the car to end the combo, pushing you away and knocking you away as well. The Iron Giant's upward attack is actually him throwing a piece of scrap, and you can actually eat these pieces of scrap as well. The initial swing of his arm also serves as an attack, and it will launch opponents upward, so be sure to keep that in mind. As well, if you try to aim the scrap at someone, it can hit them and it will knock them away. The Iron Giant's downward attack actually serves as a spike and has utility to it as well. He plants some scraps in the ground. Kind of looks like he's trying to build a flower out of scraps. But anyway, he can actually pick that up and eat it. He's a very resource necessary character because those resources give him bolts. Again, I will be explaining that soon. But just keep in mind that you can spike someone with this off stage if they're trying to recover. It's a very quick slam down onto the ground. It's probably one of his faster moves because let's face it, the Iron Giant is a character where when you look at him move, he doesn't necessarily run. He just walks. Because he's so big, because he's so heavy, he has to have weaknesses, and that would be his movement speed. The ability for him to land is actually a little bit hard when he's getting hit in disadvantaged state. Because he's so big, it's much easier to combo him and edge guard him, but he has tools to work around those weaknesses to kind of soften the blow in that regard. But he makes up for everything with his raw strength and, again, his survivability. This character is not someone that you want to sleep on. So be sure to spike him, because your moves are pretty slow. So when you have a fast one, you definitely want to use that as much as possible. His neutral aerial is basically him just twisting his legs around, pretty much in a 360-degree motion, landing a kick. This can actually lead into other moves as well, since you can pretty much cancel a move and go right into another one in this game, which is pretty neat in Multiversus. And it's nice to see that the Iron Giant retains some form of a combo game.
I am here.
His next aerial is going to be his side aerial. This aerial is super cool because unlike Bugs Bunny's, where the initial kick is where the hitbox is, the Iron Giant has several hitboxes from the moment he starts the move that all try to connect into the final kick, the final extension of his legs. This is great for edge guarding. This is great as an approach option as well. Honestly, it's one of my favorite moves as the Iron Giant, and I think it's one of his most useful moves in neutral. His upward aerial is simply just him actually going upward with a punch that kills as well. Has a little bit of wind up at the beginning, so you have to be very certain of how you're going to land it and when you're going to land it. Something a little cool about this is the fact that if you hold the attack and up, the Iron Giant will actually hover with the attack. Not to mention, the Iron Giant doesn't have necessarily the most normal double jump. If you actually tap double jump, it'll activate the hovers on his feet right at the end. So he doesn't actually have a second jump that goes high. It just automatically shifts into a hover and you're supposed to hold A. And the cool thing is, even if you let go of A, once you press it again, he'll start hovering again. Something to note on this is that I found out that if you hover off stage, right, and you're running low, but you still want to make it back, you can wall cling and it'll regenerate your fuel basically, so you can just jump off the wall and hover again. Now, something I fear is that people might try to stall with the Iron Giant because of this. However, he's so big that I think it's very hard to safely stall as this character. Next up is going to be his downward aerial. Basically, he's hovering, especially if you hold it. It serves as a spike, and if you hold it, you can actually burn the ground a little bit. And even if you don't hit them with the initial hitbox of this move, you can actually hold it and pretty much burn them over time, almost like an ignite, so to speak. I think it's a really interesting move, has an interesting dynamic to it, and honestly, it just looks cool. It's very fun to actually do. The Iron Giant's neutral special is actually insane. So basically, this is pretty much the get off of me move. When the Iron Giant is overwhelmed, you can basically hit your neutral special to knock people off of you. And remember those bolts I was talking about? You can stack up to 5 bolts maximum, but the more bolts that you have, the more he is able to summon pretty much what is armor that is also immune to armor breaking abilities. Not only that, the more bolts that he has while he uses this move, the more gray health your ally will receive. The Iron Giant has a super duper cool side special. You actually get to pick people up, and this is actually my favorite move is the Iron Giant, because I like to pick people up, walk them across the stage, and decide, do I want to throw them upward, do I want to throw them forward, do I want to throw them downward? You get to pick the direction you're throwing your opponent. Now the thing is, when you do the sideward throw, you actually just combo straight into your forward attacks, which is super dope. But if you try to combo with your side special, you actually can't do that, because obviously you're already carrying him. But you can combo or let go and activate straight into your down special. You can actually grab them, activate your up special where you twirl around the car just to like F him up. You can throw him upward, and you can actually put some oomph into it. If you hold the neutral attack button, or just the attack button in general, and the direction that you want to throw them in, depending on which direction it is, you might be able to charge it up to throw them even further. Downward doesn't do that though. The downward variation just immediately combos into his downward attack, like straight up. The one that spikes that I showed you before. Cool special. I like it a lot. Down special as the Iron Giant pretty much is this somersault into the ground. Cool thing about this move is you can cancel it at any point. Even while you're going up straight from the beginning, if you just tap the jump button, it cancels the momentum and gives you full control of the giant. The cool thing about this move is if you actually hold the button, you can hold it endlessly as long as you want, but then a cursor appears that allows you to aim exactly where you want the giant to go. Let's say that you're already in the air and you want to land with a move, maybe mix up your landing. You can actually just hit down special in the air as well to catapult right down onto your opponent. This serves as a move that kills straight off the top once you collide into them on the ground while they're standing, or you can actually even spike your opponent off stage with it. And then up special, you're twirling a car and you're knocking them out. The cool thing about this move is even from the beginning and while it's in motion, you can control the angle that the Iron Giant is actually twisting the car in. And I think that was a really cool idea to do, give players a lot more control over how to aim this move. It's a nice move to also combo with in the air as well. And like when you hold upward neutral attack, or just your upward attack in general, you can actually hold upward and special to hover with the move as well. In the air, your neutral special is still the same. You summon the bolts, you summon the shield. You can't take armor breaking moves. They don't matter. Your armor will not break. You still summon great health for your partner. The move is godlike, and god damn, I love it. Literally the get off me move. I feel like I'm getting bodied, just straight get off of me. Even if I'm in the air, if I'm even on the ledge trying to make it back, I can jump above the ledge, neutral B immediately to make people back off. It's just such a good move with such good utility. Now, a move that does change in the air is actually his side special. He pretty much just does an aerial tackle, and I think it's really cool. Also uses some of his fuel as a resource, so be careful. You can use it to recover, you can use it to be aggressive, but you have to remember that you have resource management on the Iron Giant, so if you don't have fuel, you might not be making it back if you decide to be aggressive with it off stage, but that's just me, you know? So the Iron Giant is a unique character in a sense where if he does damage or he takes a ton of damage, he pretty much builds up a meter that you can see under your damage profile, pretty much where it's called Rage Mode. Iron Giant is a pacifist. However, you have to understand that he is also a weapon of mass destruction. He's incredibly strong, and he's pretty much well crafted to dish out as much damage as possible. And while he may seem like a harmless giant, you piss him off enough, he's going to get the job done. And he wants to protect his friends no matter what. So once that rage meter is filled all the way up, you can actually hit the special button, the neutral special button, and you turn into essentially the weapon of mass destruction. You basically, if you hold forward and X, you're walking around, you're basically shooting your opponent, zapping them to death. In rage mode, he charges a forward kick that actually has the ability to kill. His upward attack actually changes in a way where he fires 3 missiles that go overhead and shoot downward. The missiles can be fired multiple times before cooldown applies, and not only that, the little electric surge that happens at the beginning also has the ability to kill off the top. And last but not least, his downward attack in rage mode allows him to charge and slam his foot, creating a shockwave. Charging it increases the distance of the shockwave. So everything about this character gets buffed for a short period of time, and then going into the specials, his neutral special, the Iron Giant will fire a powerful electrical projectile. Separate cooldowns apply for both attacks. When the Iron Giant picks up items, he will eat them, refreshing the cooldown for his bolts, basically making that whole entire get off me move even more deadly. Now the side special changes in a way where you kind of shoot these green orbs where if they hit someone, it pretty much stuns the enemy, putting them in the bubble and allowing you to combo off of them. I find that this is very useful, but the cooldown for it is pretty long, but it makes sense given the fact that it's such a good move, but I also think it's pretty hard to hit. Now, when he's doing an upward special in rage mode, pretty much this is what I was talking about before, actually. He sends an electrical strike up his body. It's separate, actually, from the other move, the upward attack where he shoots the missiles. That's one thing. This is a special. The special actually allows the electrical surge to go above him, which kills opponents off the top. It is so strong and it's very, very scary to get hit by. And last but not least, in rage mode with his down special, he shoots a downward laser blast projectile. You charge it to increase the range of the projectile. This character is nuts, and even though you can be in rage mode for only a short amount of time, you can make the most of that time. But to put even a twist on it, your partner can actually pilot the Iron Giant while he's in rage mode. Yes, you can actually jump into the Iron Giant and go ham blasting people mid-match. You don't believe me? When your Iron Giant partner goes into rage mode, try it out. It's very, very satisfying. Another really cool passive ability is basically when the Iron Giant is wall clinging, his fighters can walk along his shoulders like a platform. They really gave this character so... I'm not even surprised at this point. Every character gets so much attention. Even the smallest details of a character get so much attention. And I really think that is super cool regarding just how these characters work and how they're crafted so carefully. Because that's honestly sick. You know what I'm saying? Enemies will actually bounce off of him like a wall if they collide with him while in knockback, and that's also so cool. So, overall, in my honest opinion, right, because I don't want to just get all hyped because it's a new character, we have to talk about viability. I think the Iron Giant is actually insane in teams. He has proper weaknesses, especially given everything he can do. His weaknesses make sense. However, with the aid of a teammate, it makes him being combo food less likely to be that much of a problem if your partner is good enough to also join the fray and keep people from just focusing you super hard. Not to mention that you do have your get off me move, that electrical surge attack with the bolts to knock people off. I think accompanied with that, how much damage he does, how much he can take in terms of damage as well, he's a very useful partner to have. Now in singles, I think there's a lot left to be desired because you can pretty much just zone him out and keep him out because he can't run. He can only walk. He's not the fastest character in the game. However, there's a lot of room for development in singles before we just pretty much write him off. I think in teams he's a very strong character. I think he's going to be a very prevalent character, especially when played well and strongly in the meta. But you're going to have discipline to play this character because a lot of times when playing heavy characters or large characters, taking damage so fast in such a short amount of time can actually pretty much fry someone's mindset in a way. And so I think a lot of players that don't like to see that they're getting hit so much for such a long time, it's going to pretty much turn them off of wanting to play him. But players rather, that understand the reward of actually putting in time with characters like this will reap the rewards heavily because I do think he's a very satisfying and rewarding character to play, and I can't wait to see how the Iron Giant actually shakes up the meta this time around, especially the tank meta. I thought Wonder Woman was the best, and I still think Wonder Woman might be better than the Iron Giant, but I have pretty high opinions of Wonder Woman. However, there could be a possible case or argument for the Iron Giant being better, so I'd like to see how that goes. This character's awesome. Love him very much. I'm very happy he's in Multiversus, and hopefully this guide allows you guys to understand just how cool this character is and maybe make you want to play him. But without further ado, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Be sure to click that subscribe button and turn the bell notification on to know when I'm going to drop another video. It's Multiversus season, guys. You know the content is coming. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Of course, let me know what character you want me to cover next. And if you want me to do some kind of different Multiversus content, please give me some ideas in the comment section below. Maybe I can make your wish come true. I'll be streaming Multiversus a lot, of course, on twitch.tv/NAKAT. So be sure to also check that out and hit that follow button so you know when I'm live. But I ain't going to keep you any longer. This is NAKAT. Much love. Take it easy. Peace out. Deuces.